Thank you, Sinju. Good morning, one and all present here. On behalf of ADCEL, Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology, I take immense pleasure in welcoming our beloved CEO, Dr. Karnagaran, respected principal, Dr. J. Jaya, and our vibrant team, academics, Dr. P.N. Magadeshwaran, for this wonderful session. Next, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Saintan Mukherjee, founder, the Innovation Garage and Hilltop Ventures, for sharing his valuable ideas. Welcome, sir. Last but not the least, I would like to welcome our participants and the faculty members to enjoy the session. Hope you'll have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Today, we have Mr. Saintan Mukherjee, the founder of Innovators Garage and Hilltop Ventures, and who is also the academic director of National Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship Management, today as our chief guest. He has worked as innovation manager at Mahindra Private Limited. He has mentored more than 550 engineers and managers and more than 1,200 students. He is a level 2 inventor of TRIZ, that is, the theory of inventive problem solving. He is also an innovation consultant at Mahindra, Simply Learn, etc. He has been a guest faculty at SIBM Pune, SREC Coimbatore, ICAF, ICFAI, and others. We feel so happy to have you today, sir. Now the session is over to you.
Thanks a lot. It's quite a detailed introduction. Thanks for that. Guys, I think we have met once before. We have had an interaction before. I believe you remember that. I don't know whether it's the same crowd I am addressing today, but in that way, some way I have an introduction that definitely helps. So one very interesting and important, rather I must say, topic that we are going to discuss today is design thinking. And I believe that probably you might also have heard of this topic quite a lot going around nowadays. Every industry you look for, every sector you look at, every type of places that you have been or interactions that you have, you probably have heard of this design thinking. It is coming up big time in India right now. And probably for the last 5 years, it has seen a huge acceptance. So we are going to get through this introduction, this design thinking. It's an introductory session. This is not going to be something which is too high level for you. This is something where you are just going to introduce to this concept. Number one. Second is, you will understand that how design thinking, when you start using design thinking, how as a student, this is going to help you. Okay, so that's definitely something that we are going to touch upon. But one thing that I will require you guys to do is, there are certain things that we have to do together. Like you have to give me certain ideas, otherwise it's going to be a little difficult for me to think about something new. Okay, so on that note, I will require you to, wherever possible, make sure that you either type in the chat box or unmute yourself and share your thoughts, your ideas. Okay, so that's something which we will have together and will enjoy a lot on. Okay, so with that note, let's begin. Just do let me know once you see my screen, because I can't see you back. So just let me know once you see the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, great. So here we have, and before I just jump into design thinking or trying to explain what it is, let's try to understand that how things had been till date, okay, how innovations had been. And for that reason, I need a little bit of your help. Anybody recognize what is this? Anyone? What is this? The one that you are seeing on the screen. What is this thing? You can drop in the chat box also what you believe, or you can just tell me. What is this? Don't tell me you don't have a clue of what is this. Really, you don't know what is this? Okay. You don't, I don't know whether you really didn't know what is this or you are reluctant to say. Anyways, uh, this is something that generally you will be seeing in a supermarket. And what it does, it essentially collects, you are using it to collect all the things that you are picking up from the supermarket. Fruits, vegetables, groceries, everything get in there, right? Now do you understand what is this? This is a basket. You can recognize this, right? A basket, a steel basket that you generally use when you are going into a supermarket to buy stuff, right? You get it? If you just get it, just let me know in the chat box. Yes, with some yes, just let me know that you have understood what this is, because on this basis we are going to do the whole framework of design thinking. Okay, so can I see some yes coming from your end? That's the simplest thing to do. Okay, great. Hasini understands. Yes, there are others also who are understanding. Great. Now you can connect with it, right? You see this. You most often you have been seeing this. Okay. Thanks, Vaishnavi. Okay, so Arun, yes, thank you. Okay, great. So let me get back to this. And now, guys, I want your energy back. Okay, what I want you to do is just tell me that in case I ask you to improve this product, okay, a couple of ideas. Can I borrow a couple of ideas from your end how you can make this product better? When I say improve, obviously I'm looking to make it better. So just think something. It can be as crazy as possible, but just share something. Okay, how can you make it better? What additional stuff can you put in here? Mostly the kind of things. Okay, let me give you a couple of hints that I already get from students. They say that, you know what, I will put some kind of a barcode scanner over here, so that you can, whenever you are picking something, you can scan it. That's good. Sometimes people say that, I will put some vegetable container separately from the grocery container. Sometimes we buy these packets like the curd or the milk, right? And we don't want it to get punctured by other stuff. So if there is another something over there which gets in and fits, that also works, right? I want you to think. Okay, this is all about you using your brain. Okay, I want you to think on this, that what is this about? And while you are thinking, let's go back and let's try to look at that what else could have been done. So whatever all these ideas that I gave you, or probably some ideas that are coming onto your mind, these are all, that is product centric. Like you are looking at the product, you are thinking that how you can make it better. See, you probably have seen ads that come for washing machine, ads that come for a car or any other stuff. Mostly what do you see? They talk about features. Mostly if you look into a car, it will talk about that this car has this technology embedded in it. Sometimes when you are looking at an AC, air conditioner, it talks about it has an inverter fitted in it. So everything that we generally target when we want to innovate is looking at the product. And when we look at the product, we try to think that how can I make it better, right? So if I have a pen, I start thinking that what else can I put in the pen? Can I make it more multiple colors? So I have one blue colored pen. When I say blue color, the ink color is blue. I want multiple inks to it. So people have made multiple refills over there. So these are all product centric innovation. You look at the product and you start thinking, what can I do about it? That's definitely a good approach to innovation. And this is the most common approach to innovation. This is what standard everybody is doing across the world. Okay. Now, if I ask you more, that, okay, fine, I'm done with it. Think more, different, something different. Think about those people whose day job is to design this basket. Like when we go to the supermarket, we find that the baskets are there. Now, there is definitely some company who is manufacturing these baskets. In that organization, there must be some engineers, some people working who are designing how the basket will be, right? Now, if they are sitting and they have to innovate, they are not going to stop at only product-centric innovation. They will start thinking of little more innovative ideas. And what kind of ideas will come to them? Some of them may say that I will reduce the cost of the basket. So today, if the company is making one basket for say 50 rupees and selling it at 60 rupees, I keep the 60 rupees fixed and can I reduce it to 40 rupees? Okay. So this is how cost reduction ideas come. So people start thinking, how can I reduce cost? There is somebody speaking. Can we have the mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's cost reduction specific ideas. Okay. Now, one is cost reduction. What else? Some people come up with value engineering ideas. What is value engineering? Value engineering is all about looking into a product and finding what is not useful in the product and let go that. Okay. So sometimes people have, so think about this. Long time back when we had pens, even now also we have pens, which has a cap, right? You have a pen and a cap, right? So when you have a pen and a cap and somebody probably thought that we'll put a rubbery stuff on the cap so that it doesn't slip. Later on, you are trying to reduce the cost of the pen and you are thinking that, is it really necessary to put a rubbery strip on the cap? It's okay for the grip to have the rubber, but on the cap, I don't think I require a rubber. So you let go that. So whatever you find is not adding any big value to your main product, you can let go those things. That is called value engineering. So people come up with value engineering ideas. Some people decide that, you know what, we have been working with certain vendors who are supplying raw materials to us to manufacture a product. So this basket, the steel that you see, that is coming from somebody, right? So if I find that one vendor is selling steel for per kg, say 50 rupees, and another vendor is selling at 40 rupees, somebody can go ahead and say, let's buy from the 40 rupees guy. We will reduce the cost. Very good. That's also a good innovation to try out. And another type of thing is different market. Today we are selling these baskets only in supermarkets. Can I sell elsewhere? We have to find out a use case where else people may require a steel basket. So that's also works. Now, this sort of innovations that are coming, this sort of ideas that people are getting, this is called business-centric approach. Why? Because this is all about creating value for the business. If you reduce cost of this basket, the end consumer does not get anything, right? As me buying the basket, I still pay you 60 rupees, but you are manufacturing at 40 rupees. So the profit you are gaining is 20 rupees. That is your profit. So the business is getting out of these innovations. That's why it is called valuable to the business, which is business-centric approach. So we talked about two approaches. One is looking at the product and starting to think that how can I improve the product from what it is already. Okay, that is product-centric approach. And now we are talking about business-centric approach. But there is another dimension to things that people till date have ignored, didn't work out. People didn't think about it. But we are going to think because we are design thinkers. So what is this third dimension? This is where we are going to look at the person who is using the product. Okay, and try to figure out what is the problem that person is going to face. And once we understand what's the problem that person is facing, the challenge that person is facing while using the product, we'll try to solve it. Okay, so this is the picture that you can see, right? Somebody carrying this basket filled with veggies and stuff like that. Can you guess what problem this guy is going to face pretty soon? Anybody can tell me? What problem this person is going to face? I'm sure you can see it. So somebody is putting certain things in the basket, right? You can see how it is looking like right now. What problem may this individual encounter pretty soon?
Pain in hands.
Absolutely brilliant answer. Yes, absolutely. It will definitely create a pain in the hand. Now, this is something that the moment you look at it, you start thinking that, okay, this person is definitely going to feel some pain. And if I can solve that, wow, that's the best thing to do. But till the time you are looking at this user using it, you never thought of it. We were all thinking about how we can make the basket a super basket, amazing basket, in a very different way. Definitely, that would have also helped. That would have also helped this customer. But the moment you look at from the user using it, the kind of challenges that you see that you can work upon on this basket is very different from the challenges that you were solving before. Barcode scanning helps. How it helps? At the end stage when somebody is going out, obviously if the barcodes are scanned before, definitely reduces the time it requires you to be there in the line. Helps. But this only happens when you are looking at somebody waiting in the line, and you know that this is a pain point that this human being is having while checking out. That has nothing to do with the basket. Later on, you think that can I add something to the basket that it helps? So it has nothing to do with the basket. You could have done the scanning elsewhere also. What about wherever you have the product, right? There only you have a scanner. That there also you can scan. You don't need the barcode scanner to be in the basket itself. But when I'm asking you how you can improve the basket, the moment you look at this user, you start getting new ideas. This is what we call the human-centric approach. So the moment you are looking at the human being and starting to think that how can I improve the basket, you're applying something which is called the human-centric approach. And while you are doing the human-centric approach, what you are trying to do, you're trying to make this product valuable to the human being or the end user who is using it. Okay. Now, to make the most incredible product, what we need it to be at the center of these three approaches. We cannot ignore any of this. Neither product-centric approach, neither the business-centric approach, nor the human-centric approach. All these three approaches are extremely important if we want to make an incredible product. Why? Say you have made the best product which the user wants. They love your product. But there are certain technical problems that you are not able to make the product itself. The idea is there. The idea is amazing. People will love it. You cannot make it. If you can't make it, then how you are going to put it out in the market? So product-centric approach is very important. At the same time, if you are making something and then your business is not approving it, or you're finding that to make the product itself, I am losing money in, say, making the product itself is taking me 70 rupees. But your business is ready to pay you only 60 rupees. Then you are like, okay, 10 rupees loss per basket. Can you run? No, you cannot run the business. You cannot make the product at all, right? So human-centric, product-centric, and business-centric, all these three approaches are very important when you are trying to create the perfect product. Okay. Now, what is this? What are we talking about? This is what we are talking about, design thinking. This is design thinking. If you have understood this already, guys, you are done. You have understood design thinking completely. Because till date, whatever innovation methodologies we had been using, we had always been looking at innovation. We had always been looking at innovation from the product perspective. We have always been looking at innovation from the business perspective. As students, you guys were looking at product perspective. You didn't have much idea about the business perspective. You may still not have it. Once you join an organization, once you are part of a corporate, then you will start realizing this, that what is the meaning of getting a product out, which is business sensitive, which is business viable. It's a different story altogether, and we don't want to get to it immediately at the time being. Just this much is good enough, that if you are charging your customer X amount, then your cost of making the product has to be less than X. You cannot make something which is more than X and sell the product at X, because that's a loss-making initiative. And guys, don't go into the understanding of how this e-commerce companies work, how Zomato works, how Paytm works, or anybody works, because they are loss-making companies. We are not looking at those kind of companies, because definitely they are not somebody who are following design thinking end to end. They are looking at customer desirability, all good, but they are not able to run the business viably, and we are not planning on anything on that where we are going to burn cash from whatever we get from the investors. We are not going to do that. Okay. Design thinking helps you make a complete product, a complete business, something which is flawless. And when we say flawless, we are addressing all these three things. Product centricity, which makes you make a product as you want it. Technically, it's good product. Second is business centricity, where you are absolutely sure that whatever you are selling, you're at least earning something so that the business can run on its own. Even if it is 2 rupees, 3 rupees you're gaining, that's also okay. At least you are gaining something. It has to be that way that you are making some profit. And human centricity. Human centricity is all about keeping the human at the center and trying to think that how you can create the most desirable product for them. Now, design thinking from the mind perspective, how it works. See, most of us are engineers. If not, we are, if not engineers, at least in some domain, you are technically strong. Whatever domain you are strong in, that is the core technical part of ours. Whenever we are experts in our own technical domain, what happens is we tend to always find out reasons why something will not work. Okay. Now, at that point, we are always thinking analytical, which is logical. This is going to work. This is not going to work because something else is not working. This brain is important, very important. Why? Because that is the brain that provides us all the technical thing that is required. Now, there is another part of the brain which is dormant. Most of the time, we make it dormant, and that's the creative part. The right brain and the left brain kind of logic. This creative brain, what it does, it always throws ideas, crazy stuff. It always is looking for color in life. It is always telling you that you are making a product fine, but can you make it wonderful? Think about this from the perspective of a small child. Okay? The child is having some problem, some ailment. Okay? She or he is not well. Now, the doctor has the perfect medicine for it. What is it? It's an injection. There is a medicine that has to be injected in the body of that small child. Now, this solution is perfect. Technically, there is no problem. But it is definitely not desirable. The user, who is this small kid over here, that small kid doesn't want it. She's scared out of this doctor. The moment that guy comes with the syringe and the sharp needle, she starts crying. I don't want it. This is exactly what's happening with our customers. We have solutions for them. Whatever they are asking, we have solutions. But when we come with the solution, they try to run away. They don't want it because the way we are presenting the solution is not good. Now think about it. If in place of that syringe, if the medicine can be put inside, a sweet jelly kind of thing, which is tasty, very tasty and very nice, and you give it to the child, it still works. If it still works, I don't know if it works. If it still works, she's going to be very happy. Wow, this is amazing. Give me more. That is design thinking. You have a solution that solves a problem, but can you make it such that your customer loves it? They're like, wow, give me more. That is design thinking. Okay. Now let's look at the framework of design thinking, how it looks like. So design thinking necessarily has 5 stages. Sometimes we combine it into 4 stages, which is okay. 5 stages, 4 stages, both work. Not a problem. It starts with empathize. Okay. As you can see in the picture, is exactly what empathize is. It's like you trying to understand somebody else, very different from you. Okay. Somebody very different, you're trying to understand exactly what works, what doesn't work. So for example, today, right now, we are learning design thinking. And I am training you, right? Now, you are not the only type of students, not the only type of learners whom I train. I have certain learners who are corporate professionals, who are very senior people. Now, if I give them examples of, say, this kid that I talked about and all, they will not be able to relate. You can relate, but they will not be able to relate. So what do I need to do? I need to change the examples. The context of design thinking will still remain same, but I will have to change the examples. I have to explain them in the way they understand. How am I able to do it? because I am able to empathize with them. I am able to put myself in their feet, and me becoming a corporate professional sitting over there who have some experience in working and all, if I listen to childish examples, something which is like a college student will understand, I will not prefer. Again, if I give you the examples that I give you to a professional, which is very technical, very serious, you will not have the fun. You will be like, what boring class is this? What is this guy talking about? All technical stuff and giving me examples from some industries and sectors. I don't like it. So I have to empathize with both this type of people, very different. I am neither. Neither I am a student, nor I am a corporate professional. I am somewhere in between. I have to understand both of you. How do I do it? Because I try to interact with you previously and I try to gain what makes you happy, what makes you feel this is boring. And then I try to make something which is somewhere in between. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not perfect. But always I'm trying to fine tune it. Exactly, this is what empathize is. Empathize is about trying to understand someone who you probably know little, not much. But once you know what they are facing, what problem they have, you can make the best solution because you guys are already creators. Only thing you have to know what problem they are facing, and for that you have to understand their feelings. That's empathize. Once you have done that, we move on to a stage called define. We will talk about define in details later on. All the stages I will be taking one by one. So don't worry about it. Okay. Define, by the name, if you understand, we are trying to make the whole thing very serious. See the picture also. The previous picture, there were two people, right? Here you see there is only one person, and that person is writing something, and there is something happening in the brain. So this is you who is analyzing stuff. Whatever you have empathized with, you are trying to analyze what it meant. This is define stage. Post define, you do something which we all love to do. That is called ideation. And in ideation, what you do? You come up with ideas, a lot of it. And I'm pretty sure all of you are brilliant ideators. That every individual, every human being is creative. Even if they not believe that they are creative, they are creative. Bound by it. Our biology tells us that we are creative. We have to be. Cannot be less creative. Okay. So creativity is something that only our mind tells us whether we are or whether we are not. And basis that we decide whether we are able to come up with an idea or not. If the mind tells you that, no, you are an idiot, you cannot think, then you will never be able to think. But if your mind keeps on telling you that you are a brilliant ideator, you have awesome ideas, then you will start seeing that you are actually getting great ideas. So it's all in the mind. Okay. So ideation is the simplest stuff. Once you're done with ideation, next what we do, we go to prototyping. What are we prototyping? Whatever we ideated, whatever we found out a solution to the problem that we understand in the empathy stage from the user, we are trying to create a prototype of it. Why we are trying to do it? Because of the last stage, which is called validation. Once we create a prototype, we can take it to these people with whom we empathized, who shared that there is a problem they are facing, and talk to them and tell them, you know what? Remember last time you talked to me and you said that you had a problem? See, I have made a solution. This is not the perfect solution. This is a prototype of the solution. But do you see that this is helping you? This is what we try in the prototyping phase, prototyping and validation phase. These two stages, prototype and validate, they go very hand in hand, very gelled together. Because you prototype to validate. And once validation done, you again prototype to make that small changes, again validate. So these two are always happening together. Okay. But here we don't end. See, again, there is a arrow going back. So this process is iterative. Why? Because it is highly likely that you will not be able to get the best product out in the first run itself. You empathize with your customer, you define their problem, you identified a great idea, you have prototype. When you go to validation, you will figure out that, oh my God, certain things I didn't understand. They are okay with my solution, but they are not very happy. So I have to change. That's where you again move to the empathy stage. And it keeps on happening until you get the perfect product, the product that solves the problem. Okay. So this is the framework of design thinking. What we are going to do now is we are going to look at the first stage first, okay, which is empathy, empathize. What do you do in empathize? What generally you must be hearing a little bit in banks or any sort of e-banking. They say KYC. Have you heard of KYC? They say know your customer. Here, what you do is called know your user, KYU, because not always customer and user are the same. Anybody knows over here? What do I mean when I say user and customer are not same? Who is a user? What is the difference between a user and a customer? Anybody can tell me? What is the difference? Who is a user and who is a customer? Why are they different? Okay, let me tell you what it is. Today, you go to a shop to buy a shoe. Okay, you try that shoe, and you like it, you wear it, you pay the pay the company. So you are the one who is using the shoe, and you are the one who is paying it. So in this case, both the user of the shoe and the customer, because customers are the one who pay, these are same. But imagine a very small child went to the shoe store, bought a shoe, liked it, that yeah, this is good, and then said, yes, I liked it. And she goes off. She is not standing there anymore because her part is done. She concluded that she liked the shoe. That's it. Her parents are there to pay for the shoe. So in this case, what happened? The shoe is bought by the customer, which is the parents. But who is the user? User is the small child who wore it. So there is a distinct difference. Customers are the one who pay for the product. Users are the one who uses the product. Sometimes these two are same. Sometimes they can be different. Okay? So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to know the user, the one who is going to be using the product or the service. So what do you do? How do you know the user? Number one, try to identify that exactly who is that person who is having this problem. There are so many people out there. Not everybody is having the problem. Some people may be having the problem. Identify exactly who is the one who is having the problem. Okay. Once you are sure that who is the one who is having the problem, then try to figure out exactly what problem. You probably have guessed a little bit, or what you are seeing is just an expression of the problem. You need to understand what is the problem that's happening. So we were looking at this basket, right? This basket somebody was carrying, and we were trying to see that, okay, this is the person who is carrying is having the problem. Now, if I am trying to understand that what is the problem that person is facing, I have to watch that person, what is happening. Also, I have to ask that you are making this sound. Sometimes when it is paining, you make a sound, right? You're making this sound. Why are you making this sound? So what am I doing is I'm asking open-ended questions. There is no yes or a no type of an answer. See, there are two types of ways you ask question. One is this, that I heard you make a sound. Why did you make that sound? That's an open-ended question where you allow the person to describe. There's a story. But the other way of asking this thing is, I heard you making this sound. Were you in pain? Then there is a yes or a no answer. That person, if that person likes, they will say yes. Or if that person doesn't want to talk to you, say no problem. And you are like, okay. Let people answer open-ended questions because that's where stories hide. Yes and no doesn't give you anything. So keep open-ended questions as much as possible. Keep open-ended questions. Okay. And wherever possible, take photographs of what is happening. So when you see this person struggling with the fingers getting at the edge of this basket, take a picture of it. Because this is going to help you later on. When you are trying to analyze, this is going to help you. And finally, you try the product yourself. You try the problem yourself and try to understand exactly what is the challenge this person is facing. You might have talked to people that, okay, what happens and all, and they described everything. But until you are the one who is actually carrying it and you are putting things in the basket and you are hurting yourself, you will never know what what exactly went into the mind. So in this case, what you are trying to do is you're trying to look for these kind of people who are going in there, this kind of people who are essentially going to use this basket and going to feel the plane. You have to take pictures of what is happening when they are using it. All this are going to be very, very important. Okay. Now you have done a lot. You have known your user completely. This is good enough. Generally, people say this is good enough. You have a lot of data. But no, we're not going to stop here. We are going to do one more thing. You know what we are going to do? We are going to write an autobiography. So before you start jumping on the solution and all, write a autobiography. You have collected enough information about your user, right? Autobiography, why are you going to write? See, if I ask you to give your best friend a gift, okay, assume that that best friend is having the birthday coming up pretty soon. So I tell you that buy your best friend a gift for his birthday, and you will think, okay, what can I give and all. You will probably give a gift, but then I tell you that, you know what, buy a gift for yourself on your birthday. I will make the payment, but buy one for yourself. Choose the one for yourself. What will happen? You will make the best possible effort, and you will understand exactly what you need. You will start thinking, I have this, I don't want this. I have that also, I don't want that. But this is something that I will be needing. Okay, this is a very good gift. I'll buy this. Now, once you have bought it for yourself, if your friend is just like you, then I ask you to give it to that person. That person is going to love this because you have thought of yourself and bought the gift. Exactly, this is what we are going to do over here. When you start writing an autobiography, you become the user. You go completely into the user's shoe. That can be like, say, this kid that we were talking about who does not want the doctor to give the injection. She's crying. Now, if I ask you to write an autobiography, you become that child. You start thinking that I am so scared. That needle looks so sharp. It will go into my skin. I can't bear the pain. All this you start writing. And when you start writing all this, you become that user. And your solution is going to be the best solution. Till the time you are designing a product for the kid whom you're seeing, it's a different person. For designing something for a different person is very different ballgame. But when you are designing it for yourself, it's a very different solution that you come up with. So always end the empathy stage by writing an autobiography. Now we are done with the empathize stage. We are moving on to the define stage. The question is, what are we defining? Okay, what are we defining? Why are we defining? Because see, the point is, the problem is already understood. The customer told me exactly what problem that they are facing. So why am I defining anything? What am I defining? I'm trying to define the problem statement. Hold on. I just said this. Problem statement has already been defined. The customer already told me that this is the problem. The point here is, when the customer tells you that there is a problem, and if you start jumping into solving the problem, sometimes we find out that exactly what the customer said probably is not the exact problem. There is something way beneath it. Let's take an example. Tell me something. Somebody, and this time I want you guys to tell me, okay? Because this is a very simple answer. Somebody in your family is running high fever, over 100. Okay? You are worried. What is happening? What do we first do? What do we try to do immediately? We want to give them a medicine, right? What medicine? Okay, great. Yes, exactly. Dolo. It's what? It's a paracetamol, right? We give a paracetamol. And this is what we call the paracetamol trap. What it is? See, a person running high fever is a symptom. Exactly, there is a virus or a bacteria that's inside the body which is fighting. The body is fighting with that virus and bacteria, and that's the result I am seeing the fever. If you give Dolo, definitely you are going to reduce the fever. It is important also. We definitely have to give, because high fever is never good for the body. We definitely have to give. But that doesn't mean the problem is solved. It just solved the symptom. It didn't solve the problem. The virus of the bacteria is still there. We have to still go and check with the doctor and try to understand what is wrong. We have to get some tests done, and then we are going to be comfortable that now the person is fine. But if you stop over here, just after giving the paracetamol, if you're happy, okay, chalo, the fever is gone. The fever is gone temporarily, 6 hours, and it will be back again. Then this is definitely not right. This is exactly where people, innovators, make a mistake. Whenever we try to solve exactly what the customer said, we are into this paracetamol trap. Because this is the symptom that person is talking about. There is something inside, beneath, which we have to go and tackle. We don't do analysis. We don't try to find out why the person is facing a problem. We end up solving the problem that they are facing. They initially are happy, and we are very happy that we are great innovators. But then we figure out later on that person is coming back and saying, it didn't solve. It's coming back. Because you didn't solve something which is the root cause of that problem. So we are not here to get into a paracetamol trap. We'll never get into a paracetamol trap. We shouldn't. Right? So what we are going to do in defined stage, we are going to convert human problems that people said, people with whom we met, our users said, we are converting those human problems to technical problems. So we do a very thorough root cause analysis at this stage to find out exactly what I need to solve. That's why we said that at this stage, we are defining the problem statement. What we got was something which is a symptom. That was not the problem. Problem is going to come now. Okay, so that's defined stage. Here, in this case, when we looked at this person, we start thinking that what is the problem exactly? We are trying to analyze from physics perspective, and we find out that initially, when the basket is empty, what is happening? The basket, this handle and all, this is resting the side of the individual. This black stuff that you are seeing, imagine that this is the human being who is carrying the basket, and this is the basket. Okay. Now, this black thing is the leg or the body, this torso side. Okay, imagine that. And this black side, let me change my, oops, sorry. Yeah. This black side is the hand. Okay. So I'm trying to hold the basket with this hand, and this is my torso, on which is this part resting. Okay. Initially, this was the situation, empty basket. But then I had actually put something. I bought something, and with that, what happened? There is a couple that is made. How it is working? This part, this edge is now touching my body, my torso. And this whole thing is called tilted, because there is a force that is a component of the force that is acting on this side of the basket. And to balance it, I am trying to pull it on this side. So there is a couple in action. Okay. Now what will happen if I add products more? Then this will be increasing. This force is going to increase, and to balance it, I have to go further. My hand will start slipping, and I'll come to the edge. And moment I come to the edge, I feel the pain. So it starts spinning. Now, this is the analysis that I am doing. This was not something that the customer could have said. Customer just said that I feel a pain while using it. But I cannot stop over here. I have to understand why is this happening. Then I can solve the problem. Temporarily, if I do something over here, it doesn't solve. Okay, you are facing some problem. I'll fix it. We're not going to do that. Design thinking doesn't tell us to do that. Said you shouldn't be doing it. Okay. So in define, we have defined the problem. Now we are moving on to the ideation stage. And this is the easiest stage. And I'm not telling you any tips and trips of how to do ideation. There are so many ways you can ideate, and I'm pretty sure that coming from a prestigious college like Hindustan College, I am sure that if you are already a student there, you are already at a level where you believe you're creative. No single individual can make me believe that they are not creative. So I won't take it. So this is the easiest stage. The moment you know what problem you're solving, you will start getting ideas like in seconds. A lot of ideas will come. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you what ideas you need to get, how you generate ideas. Rather, I'll tell you what not to do at this stage. Okay, generally where people make mistakes. Number one, don't fall in love with your idea. Okay, what happens if it is a group stuff? So say 4 or 5 people, you all are sitting together and you are all working on an idea. Working on a challenge. So these 4 or 5 people individually are contributing with 2 or 3 ideas, right? Now, if you are one of those four, what happens? You are you are always going to voice for your idea to get selected. And like, this is such an awesome idea. What happens is, in case there are certain problems in that idea, you are so blind in love with it that you cannot actually identify what are the problems that your idea may be having. So never fall in love with your idea, though it is easier said than done, but consciously make sure that you are not falling in love with the idea. Fall in love with the concept, the intent that you are going to solve the challenge your customer is facing. That's going to be your aim. Wherever you see that your idea is not 100% solving that problem, throw it out. You just have to accept it that yes, this was an idea, but this is not going to work. I have to accept it. Okay. So that's something that you need to make sure that you are not doing. So that's the first pitfall. Second, sometimes this happens that it's a long journey. Design thinking is not a short journey, it's a long journey. By the time you reach there, by the time you reach where you are ideating, you end up solving a very different problem. Some other problem you start solving. You started up with something, halfway down, you found out, oh, I'm getting some solutions to a very different problem. Let us work on it. No, that's something that definitely you are not going to do. Okay. Make sure that at every stage, whatever things you are getting, it is in line to what you talk to your customer about. That problem is getting solved or not. Okay. And the third thing, very important, don't kill crazy ideas. Let it be yours or let it be somebody else. It may sound very crazy, but if it is solving the problem, capture it. Later on, you will figure out how to make this happen. But crazy ideas, remember guys, crazy ideas are the ones which are out of the box, which are different, which are patentable. So when you hear a crazy idea, don't cut it on, hey, what are you saying, yeah? This is not going to work. Okay. Make sure that you are accepting all ideas. Let that be whatever it is. Okay. That's the pitfall. So here, one crazy idea that somebody thought about is, they thought that, this is the villain in the whole show. This point, the yellow point. Why? Because this is the point where the torso or the leg is hitting the basket. If I can push it through inside, so what they mean to say, if I can push it through inside, it goes through, then there is no problem. You can always have the hand at the center. If there is no edge that is getting stuck over here, it can actually get in. And with that, I don't have a pain because the basket is straight. Basket is not tilting. And what was tilting? This edge was tilting. If I can move the basket beyond this point, then it's amazing. How do we do that? We'll think about it. For the timing, this is the idea that we need to move it. Okay. So we are done with the ideation stage. We are moving on to the last stages, which is prototype and validate. As I said, these two go together hand in hand, because to validate, you make a prototype. You have to identify for whom you are validating. You have to make the prototype accordingly. So what we are going to do first is, now these are very important steps, guys, and carefully listen to it. First thing, you had a lot of ideas after your ideation stage, right? A lot of them. Don't work on more than one idea at any point of time. At any point of time, it has to be only one single idea. Now, it may so happen that you have figured out that 4 ideas are very good. So then what do? You take few things from each of these ideas and make one. Create a sandwich of this 4, or rather a burger of this 4. Multiple patties in a burger, something like that. Anything in any sort of online tool. No, nothing online. Pure paper and pencil or paper and pen. Draw it out. Segment it out exactly how you want it to look like. Everything has to be hand drawn, right? The user, show them and get feedback. Be prepared that there can be unhappy feedback. Some people may tell you, what is this? This is nonsense. This is not something that I was looking for at all. It's not solved any problem Forget about the whole, it does not solve 1% of my problem. It may be so. Never be disheartened. Because this is a journey I told you, which is iterative, right? So I'll show you a few of the prototypes that some of my students till date have made, which are 3D models. Okay. Now you see what kind of things they made. So this was what you see. This two. This is a truck which they wanted to use for transporting perishable products from faraway places. So this was a farm to market concept, and there was a lot of tomatoes which were getting bad. So they worked on the idea, and once they made, so this is how they used. This is just some cardboards they used, and this is the outer side of the truck. You can see it's a top view. Then you can see here A4. A4 was their name. The team, they had 4 girls, and they called themselves Amazing 4. So that's why they had put over here A4. And they are little design-centric people, so they love to make some designs. What you're seeing over here is the internal part of the truck. Okay. Here you can see there are a lot of things: cone baskets, entry to the truck, and you can see the pathway. They have written about pathways. These are all tomato cones. Like baskets filled with tomatoes. All these things they have made. Here also there is a small earring. I don't know you can see or not. There is a small earring they have put. What is this? This they represented as the sensor. A sensor that is going to sense the temperature control. So all this could be easily demonstrated so easily just by using cardboards. One more. This is one where this kids, they wanted to show how the layout of a post-pandemic car can look like, shared mobility. Okay, so see there they have, this is not even cardboards. These are little solid papers that they used, strong papers that they used, very thin, right? And what they did is they showed partition over. You can see the backside, how the partitions are shown, how two people can share the same car without getting contact with each other. This is a shared mobility concept. And there was one who created a drone out of cardboards. You can see this is how they have created a drone. The whole, and there is something in the front also, which was kind of a scoop stuff and all. They used a fork in front. This actually is a fork. You may not be able to understand, but this is a fork. And this is the hand of the drone, and this is how the drone is going to fly. All this are, you have to think it this way, that you can imagine. What is the age group of these people? None of them have crossed class 9 yet. None of them. This was made by class 8 students. This is even younger, class 7 and 8 group. And this is again a class 8. So none of them crossed class 9. That's the product that you are seeing. So if they can make it, I am 200% sure you people can easily make it. This does the work. This actually does the work. You can actually show it to people to get their feedback, to get feedback of people that, are you liking it or do you want some changes and all? That works. Now coming back to the problem that we were trying to solve, this basket stuff. Now this was initially what the idea was. So now when the prototype was made, the drawing out concept was made. This is the top view. Think about it from the top, how it looks like. What we said, this part, beyond this, the basket has to extend. So what they did is they thought that rather than keeping this part as a solid straight line, can I make it a curve? And the moment I make it a curve, it actually accommodates the leg. It remains straight. It accommodates the leg. The edge is past the central point. And it's an amazing idea. But have you seen this kind of products? Generally don't come. Only a design thinker can make this kind of products, because they start thinking alternative ideas to this, right? So we have essentially completed the whole design thinking cycle, right? What is important, guys, to remember is, even after doing this, you have to keep on collecting user feedback and rework. That's why these arrows are so important. It's an iterative, cyclic, keeps on moving, right? We have to be very, very careful that we are following these arrows. And now I'll show you what is the final outcome. How does the final product looks like? The final product looks like something like this. The curved shape. So first is they made it plastic. They changed the handle orientation as well. But what interesting thing they did is they gave a curve which was accommodating the feet. This was very important. This just changed the whole ballgame. Okay, so this was the solution that finally happened. Now, before this is what design thinking is all about, guys. Okay, this is all about that. Before we end, I just wanted to show design thinking in just 18 seconds in one of the ads that used to come in our TV before. I don't know whether it still comes, but I believe it is an old ad, an ad from Havells. Okay, Havells, I believe you know wires that don't catch fire. That ad. Let's watch that, and I'll explain you that what stage is happening. By the way, I think I have to stop the sharing once so that I can include the sound. I have not included the sound. Or I don't have to. Let me see, because I don't get the option. Okay, guys, let me know if you are not able to hear the sound. Okay, though we don't actually need to hear the sound, but let's see. Are you able to hear the sound?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
What?
One minute, guys. Let me just change the pointer option to. Yeah.
Havells, wires that don't catch fire.
Yeah. So this is the ad. Simple, right? Very simple. Now, what this ad is showing, I have moved in the very beginning. Okay. This shows a scenario where this mother is cooking this roti. And you know what is happening? See very carefully. We initially get to see what is happening. And while we are watching what is happening, there is this small problem that this mother faces, which is her hand getting burned with the heat. Now, there is the innovator sitting in front of us. Here he is. He observes. This is the design thinker that we are talking about. He observes what is happening. Once he understood, and while he is observing, he's trying to empathize. Oh, heat burned. I understand what mother is facing. While he is observing, he is also analyzing that why is it happening? This is happening in his mind, he's thinking, because mother is using her hand to turn the roti. Now, that's where she's actually coming very close in contact with this heat, the fire, right? Now, what he's doing is he's now ideating. All this thing is happening very fast. He's ideating. What can we do? And now he has already finalized and he stands up. The moment he stands up, his ideation process is done. Now, what he is doing? He is going ahead, and the mother, the user over here, has no clue where the innovator is going. He goes and he keeps on going. He finds out anything that's lying around. And in this case, he finds out this Havel wire, makes something out of it. See, this is what an innovator is supposed to do. A design thinker is supposed to do. Come out with ways to figure out how to explain the idea. Makes a prototype of it. This is not a completely sustainable one, but he gets a prototype out of it and gives to the user. That's the validation stage. Gives to the user. And what happens to the user? The user is, as expected, quite clueless, because that person has never seen this kind of a product before. When you are also coming with a product, that your user will never know what it is at all. So see, there is a lot of confusion in the user's mind. What is this? I don't know what is this. Then she tries actually. She starts using it. See the confusion? Deep confusion the mother is in. Then she starts using it. And once she starts using it, she starts loving the product. She's like, wow, this is the best product. But she's not telling you. Your user is not going to tell you when they are loving your product that, oh my goodness, I'm loving it. What they're going to do, they are going to come and look at you this way. This is the look that gives you the satisfaction to do new product development. When you are designing a product and your user is looking at it this way, what is the look? What does this look translate to us? Wow, you love me so much. That's one. Wow, you understand me so much. That's two. Wow, whatever you make, I am always there with you. That's what companies are looking for. because companies want customers to be loyal to them. And how you create loyal customers? When you make them understand that you actually love them, when you make them understand that whatever your problem is, nobody understands it better than us, and we are always there to help you, then your customers can never leave you. And if you are one engineer, if you are one innovator who can go into a company and create a product like this, where the company, the customer does not leave the company because of the product that you have made, you are one star employee of that company. They are not going to leave you. Okay. So this is what design thinking actually is. But before I end, I just have one thing to tell you. We have talked about design thinking. We have understood that, you know what, design thinking is something that helps you make amazing products and services. Everything is good. Everything is good when we talk about. But why is it important for you as a student? What is in it for you? Why are you going to be a design thinker? Well, there are three things that I need to tell you. One, using design thinking, you can make extraordinary things. Extraordinary. I literally mean it. When you make extraordinary things, you become unique. And only unique people are the one who get noticed. Okay? And if you don't get noticed, if you can't make yourself get noticed to others, nobody will be able to find you. So guys, this is the time where you start learning design thinking. Now that you have understood what is the concept of design thinking, understand design thinking, practice design thinking, and slowly become a design thinker. Because once you become one, people are going to easily notice you, because you're going to make great products. People are going to notice you. And when I say notice, where are they noticing you? You're going to sit for placements. You are going to go ahead and put whatever you have done in LinkedIn. People are always ready to see what's happening, who is different. Every year, there are millions of students across the country who are passing out. How many of them actually get through? People are waiting to see who are the different ones, who are the credible ones. How do you create credibility? Be a design thinker, create products that people love, and then talk about it, that this is something that I have made. People are loving it. Companies will run for you. You don't have to run after placements. You don't have to run after companies dropping your CV that, you know, this is what I am. No need. Do whatever you are best in. Become the best design thinker. Create products. Talk about it. This is the product. The users, they are loving it. This is the testimony. Share it everywhere. And you know what? You'll start seeing email after email are coming into your inbox from companies who want you to join them. And there you have the upper hand to discuss how much you are asking for it. How much are you going to demand to get into their company? That's kind of future that we are talking about. Okay. And it helps both ways. Even people who are getting your products, they're going to love it. So the world will be filled with amazing products. Okay. So that's it, guys. That's all about design thinking. And now I am completely open to questions that come my way.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words and sharing your knowledge with us. Now the section is open to doubts and queries.
Chat, you can unmute yourself and ask. All works. Before you ask questions, one last thing. Do you feel this is useful? Does this session, whatever you learned, did you enjoy it? Can I get some answers in the chat box? I don't think anybody enjoyed it, given that I don't have anything coming in the chat box. Will I take it that you guys, okay, somebody said, okay, great. Okay, now it's coming. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. And let's not just stop at thinking this is useful. Start applying it. Okay. And you can always reach out to me in case you are working on something and you need some guidance. I'll always be happy to help you out. Questions, guys? Any questions? Anything?
Now, we would like to invite Ms. S. Shobha Christilla, Assistant Professor of Biomedical Department, to deliver the vote of thanks.
So, dear participants, a very good afternoon to one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all the participants and faculties who joined in online. I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Sayanthan Mukherjee, founder, the Innovator Garbage and the Hilton Ventures, who honored this function with his inspired thoughts on the topic design thinking. I'd like to thank our managing trustee, CEO, principal, our overall EDC coordinator, Mrs. Kanimoli ma'am, and all the department EDC coordinators. And last but not the least, our beloved student audience for making this online EDC program a meaningful one. So once again, I thank one and all present here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
sir, for being with us. The session was really interesting. Hope students would have enjoyed and have gained something. They would have known what is design thinking. At least they'll start thinking from now on how to solve the problem. So thank you so much for accepting our invite and being here with us, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. It's always a pleasure. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.